Hi, welcome. Simon here, and hope you're doing well. In this video, what I'll be doing is a keyboard replacement on a MacBook Air. This model is A1466. If you're not sure where to look for the model, take a look at the back of your laptop here. You should be able to identify the model that says A1466. All right, so the keyboard, we need to get the full assembly for this replacement. Meaning that if you have one of the key that is broken, or you spill some water on the keyboard, unfortunately you can't just replace the keyboard. You would have to replace the full assembly like this. Okay, a lot easier, trust me, do that. And all right, so let's go ahead and get started. First thing you need to have is a Pentalobe P5. This is a 5-point pointers. Go ahead and remove the screws here. So in this process, pretty much I have to transfer the screen and the motherboard over to that bottom case, the keyboard assembly full case on the other side. On the used one, I do not have the new. They do not make this model anymore, so the only thing that you can get is going to be a used keyboard. Alright, once you have removed all the screws, you then can remove the back cover. So let's just go ahead and remove this back cover here. And the first thing you like to do is to remove the battery. Let's go ahead and disconnect the connector just by sliding it down. I'll be using a T5. Going to remove the battery. What I like to suggest you to do is probably take a picture of the laptop, right? The internal part of it, take a picture, a snapshot of it, and print it in a hard copy. So once you have the layout of the print picture, you can lay the screw down where you remove them. So let's just say you remove the screw here, you just put it down on a piece of paper that you just printed out. Give you a reference so that you know where the screw belongs to and you do not mix them up later on. All right, the next step I like to do is go ahead and disconnect the keyboard cable. Here you're going to see that there is a clipper that you need to open up, so you need to flip that little clipper open and slide that cable down. Same thing for the back lighting, so open up the clipper and slide this cable down, the flex cable. Next is to disconnect the this cable here. This is probably this is going to bridge all the data from the USB over to the main board. So the bridge flex cable, just remove that. Okay, the DC jack charger power, so slide it to your right to remove that. And this is the webcam for this LCD screen, and you can just slide it down to disconnect. Okay, here comes the speaker. Just remove that, and there's a little tape here hiding that flex cable here. And make sure you open up that little safety clipper and slide that cable to your right to remove it. Okay, there's a little cable there. Be using a T5. Remove that screw. Remove this screw. Okay, gonna peel back that little rubber. Remove this screw. The one at the bottom here is holding the fan, and then the one on the left. So the 3 screws holding down the fan. Open up the safety clipper here, and you can slide that flex cable to your right gently, and that's how you remove the CPU fan on this part. Once the CPU fan is removed, you can slide that little cable out and remove the entire USB port and DC jack connector on this. Okay, And next step is to get underneath that little screw, but you're going to do it in just a minute. Now the next part I like to do is start removing some of the screw here. So I'll be removing this one here, which is on top of the motherboard. So it's all the screws. Disconnect the speaker cable by lifting it up, and on the LCD screen, that little clipper here, you might want to flip it up. So go ahead, if you having hard time, get a plastic thing and then just flip that little clipper, slide it away from that motherboard, and there you go. The next step is to disconnect the Wi-Fi. The connector itself, it just sits on top the circle. You just have to just lift it straight up. That's how you disconnect it. Here there's one hidden screw right underneath the rubber, which is holding down the heatsink. And remove that screw here. Okay. There's one screw here right in the center, holding the entire motherboard. So let's go ahead and remove that middle screw, and you should be able to set free on this motherboard. Okay, so the entire motherboard will just come right off. At this point here, I like to remove the screen using a T8 screwdriver. I'm gonna have 3 screws here on the hinge, so let's remove that. So 1, 2, and the third screw. Now come and do the same on the other side of the screen. Remove the 3 screws. And now go ahead and open up the screen. And then the entire bottom part of the keyboard will just come right off. Okay, so that is the bad keyboard. That little V key is not working, it's very dented into it. I'm not sure if you guys can see it, but you have to press really hard in order for the V key to work. So we'll be replacing the full assembly keyboard with this. Okay, let's put that on the side. Okay, let's go ahead and install this keyboard here. So make sure that your hinge on that screen is open up, and you want to make sure that the cables are on top the keyboard. And when you slide it in, I'm going to show it to you. When you slide it in, you just have to slide it from the very top here. Okay, and then the same time I'm going to slide it in on the other side. Okay, so when the thing is on, while you're holding it like such, you might want to put one of the screw here to screw it in, so that we can close the screen. Okay, so just put one of the screw in there. I'm just gonna put it on this side because this metal here, eventually you have to go on top of that. So right now I'm just going to do it on the very far right. It's easier for me this way. I'm gonna close it down and come back here and finish that metal. It's going to be sitting on top that screw. on top of the hinge, and then put the screw on top of it. Okay. Okay, you want to finish up the other two screws here for the left side of the screen. Okay, once you have done with that process, want to install the motherboard. What I like to do is to slide it in one side of the corner here, making sure that the motherboard is all the way in. At the same time, you want to make sure that all your flex cables are not underneath the motherboard. It has to sit above the motherboard. Okay, making sure that the speaker cable is sitting on top of it, and the keyboard, the Wi-Fi cable, right? Making sure everything is above it. Try not to pinch them down. Let's push this on the side. This is a very tricky one. Because you do not want that cable to be pressed in. Okay, that is making sure that the heatsink, that little screw, has a space to get in. And here comes the rubber. The Wi-Fi. Just kind of tuck it underneath. Okay, like so. And you just want to make sure that you have the screw going back into the motherboard. Okay, here comes the speaker connector. Just snap back onto it. Make sure that little clipper is open, and you want to slide that cable down towards your body. So put it back in, and then that long Wi-Fi cable goes to the one at the bottom. Make sure that clipper is open. Slide that flex cable in and then close it down. That is for the back lighting, keyboard back lighting. And this one here is for your keyboard. Open up the clipper, push all the way in, and then push it down. I'm gonna reconnect this one back together. So make sure you slide that thing all the way in. I just pull the plastic off. It just kind of out of the way. Have the screw get in there. And then we're going to slide this flex cable in it to install. So hard to get in. Just trying to face a different direction. Let me try to correct it back in the center. Keep trying to go to the north part of it, so let me correct it. You better slide it in straight to the left. Okay, it's all the way in. Push the clipper down, lock it in, and the speaker. Okay, here comes the fan cable. Slide it in first. Make sure it's in. Push the clipper down. And then you might want to get the rubber, go back on top of that fan, stick it in. The longest cable goes to the very top right corner, and then the shortest one goes to the top left, and then the very bottom is the medium size screw. Slide this one in. Push this one back in. The bridge flex cable goes back on top of it. All right, here comes the battery. Push the battery back all the way in. Have the screw. There are 5 of them. The shortest one is at the bottom. So 2 short screw. One right in the middle, another short screw here, top right, and the very last one is the top left. Okay, now do not forget to have the back cover to go back on top of it. But making sure that this does not happen to you. You see how the Wi-Fi cable is right here? That is very not the right way. You want to make sure that the cable is not sticking out, so we're going to push it back, hiding underneath the motherboard like such. Okay, gonna have all the screws to go back on top of the back cover, and that should be it. We just replaced the full assembly keyboard for MacBook Air. So if you have any question, please comment down below. If you find this video is helpful, please smash the like button for me. I really appreciate you for doing that. Okay, and that should be it. I mean, if you, well, I don't have to turn it on to show it, but it's just a keyboard replacement. I know it's gonna work, but okay, thanks for watching. Bye now.